What's up everyone, this is FP6 bringing you some more battles here in the Great League. These are some practice Go Battle League battles with a bunch of my patrons. And in today's video, I want to give you guys my 5 favorite Great League teams that I have personally used and found a lot of success with. So we're going to be going through all 5 of these teams and kind of talking about the strengths, the weaknesses, how they work, and why I had success with them. The first team here is the Swampert double steel line, which you've seen me use a decent amount, most recently here. Swampert is running Hydro Cannon and Sludge Wave. You absolutely need to have Hydro Cannon and Sludge Wave because the Sludge Wave gives Swampert play against Azumarill and gives Swampert play against opposing grass types. Registeel is running the typical moveset and typically will function as the safe swap within this team, and Skarmory in the back running Sky Attack and Brave Bird, which at this point is pretty much the standard moveset. Not a lot of people running Flash Cannon on Skarmory anymore. So typically with this team, because the backline is so weak against anti-steel Pokemon like Galerion Stunfisk or Alolan Marowak, anything that has fire damage, a lot of the times, even when you have a somewhat neutral matchup with Swampert in the beginning, you want to either throw some Hydro Cannons to try to get a shield advantage, or just swap to Reggie immediately. And the whole point of this is to try to bait out a steel counter in the back. So typically when you safe swap that Reggie, either a fighter might be coming out, which even then you'll be able to gain a shield advantage just because of the energy advantage that Reggie has. Or a Galerion Stunfisk could come out. Once again, if you go straight Focus Blast, Registeel can gain a shield advantage in that matchup. Typically, you're just going to want to gain a shield advantage with Reggie, bring Swampert back in, and then oftentimes Skarmory can sweep in the back. And even if you encounter like a grass type lead with this Swampert, if you're able to get some energy throughout the course of the match and get shields down, you can land a Sludge Wave on that grass type. Granted, it isn't a Ferrothorn like that, which still resists poison type damage. Okay, so Swampert into Altaria is not great. Gonna use, here I'm actually going to build up to a Hydro Cannon before switching to Registeel. The whole point of that is whatever is most likely gonna come out to meet this Registeel here, Swampert is probably gonna win CMP against it. So even if I get farmed down by a Pokemon, I can still nuke it with a Hydro Cannon when I come back in. But my opponent is actually choosing to stay in with Altaria, which actually makes this a lot worse for me here. So I'm curious as to what could be in the back if they are choosing to stay in and go down in shields with Altaria. Unfortunately, Registeel is going to get farmed down. I'm barely not able to get to another Flash Cannon there. Gonna bring out Skarmory, and these Sky Attacks are resisted on Skarmory, but the Dragon Breath damage really adds up. I'm going to try to commit to farming down this Altaria. Altaria is very bulky, so I actually switch into Swampert here to go for the combo play to preserve that Skarmory, and out comes a Shiftry. So this is really not good, but I know that I can get to a Sludge Wave, so I will commit a shield here, even out the shields. And then I'm going to throw a Hydro Cannon bait. This is kind of a dumb move. Really a dumb move, because I didn't even get the shield. So I should have just thrown Sludge Wave. That would have guaranteed that the Shiftry would have been taken out, or it would have caused the Shiftry to go into a shield deficit. Now I have to go into a shield deficit. Very bad play on my part, and I'm just going straight for the Brave Bird here against this Ferrothorn. It does land, which is pretty huge. But the Ferrothorn still has a shield. Thunder is for sure going to be able to take me out there. And this Swampert's not going to be able to get to another move. Double Grass in the back. Swampert had 0 play against that entire team. Altaria, Double Grass. Let's hear it. Swampert into Alolan Raichu. This is a favorable matchup for Swampert. Obviously, it is resisting those Volt Switches, but Alolan Raichus normally carry Grass Knot, which can one-shot Swampert. So I am going to have to commit some shields here. I made sure to constantly over farm with my Swampert to throw off my opponent on the energy counts. And out comes Alolan Marowak. So I'm going to soften this up with Hydro Cannon. I actually think I make a huge misplay here. I lost track of my opponent's fast moves. I thought this was just going to be a Bone Club. It was a Shadow Ball. Really not good because my entire backline struggles against Alolan Raichu. So I just let my only Alolan Raichu counter get taken out by this Marowak, and Marowak totally shreds my backline as well. Alolan Raichu and Alolan Marowak really bad for my backline, so I should have preserved my Swampert. Now I'm going to bring out my Registeel to try to lock on down this Alolan Marowak. They are out of shields, which is really good. Out comes Machamp. I'm only going to get to one move here. Only going to get to one move, so I shield it up, and I'm going to go for the Focus Blast. Does a little bit more damage, and I'm really hoping I can lock on down this Machamp. Please. Barely able to do it, but the Raichu is going to come out. Actually, the Alolan Marowak comes out to get a couple more lock-ons. Out comes the Raichu. I'm not able to get to the Flash Cannon, and this Wild Charge is absolutely going to destroy my Skarmory here. Good game there. Really big misplay. Okay, the next team we have here is not a team that I created myself. I saw the Asian Milkman use this. That's his name on Twitch and in Pogo. This Mew Scrafty Skarmory team. Now, Mew is running Shadow Claw as a fast move. I think it's the best possible fast move for Mew. It's also running Wild Charge and Surf. This gives it play against pretty much almost everything in the meta. Obviously, a Grass type lead would be the worst thing for Mew, or a Umbreon lead would be pretty tough as well. But Skarmory and typically Skarmory could function as the safe swap in here, and then whatever comes out to meet the Skarmory, the Scrafty can come out and farm afterwards. But this is a pretty anti-meta team. I think Mew has so much play in the meta right now, and in the lead, you either win a lot of leads or you get a really significant shield advantage because Wild Charge hits so hard. Surf is a nice neutral move. Unfortunately, my Mew is stuck against this Umbreon right now, but this does provide a lot of farm potential for Scrafty. And all three of these Pokemon, Mew, Scrafty, and Skarmory, kind of have average to above average levels of bulk. So they can tank hits pretty nicely, which is good. I'm gonna get a lot of farm off of this Umbreon. Even if this is another last resort, Scrafty can tank it. It was just a foul play. And in the back is an opposing Scrafty. So I need to get these power-up punches off as quickly as possible. I'm able to get to this next power-up punch. But it gets shielded, smart shield, and I'm not able to counter down the Scrafty. And I'm not going to be able to air slash down this Scrafty either. This is going to be kind of rough. Yeah, he takes me out there. Good game. Mew lead into Abomasnow. Okay, this is really bad because all of Mew's moves are resisted on Abomasnow. But I'm going to stay in and chip it away a little bit. Whatever this move is, I can tank it. It's an energy ball, which probably shouldn't have tanked that. That thing did so much damage. I'm going to utilize Skarmory as a safe swap here because Scrafty is the harder counter to the Abomasnow. My opponent switches into Hypno right now. It would be really nice to regain the switch advantage to guarantee that Scrafty could get aligned to that Abomasnow, but honestly, the Abomasnow is so low that Mew actually has some play against it now. And I can come in and farm this Hypno with either Mew or Scrafty, get a little bit of life there. I actually switch into Mew right away because I didn't want to be confusioned down. The Surf is barely not enough to... Oh man, I think I'm misplaying so hard on this game. I'm going to shield this and then farm this thing down. And then if that Abomasnow comes out, I will at least be able to Wild Charge it. Both Surf and Wild Charge are going to hit for resisted damage. I get the last shield there, which is really good. Now, Scrafty's finally going to be able to align to this Abomasnow. Don't need a shield up, even if it's an energy ball, which it is. It does a lot of damage. Oh my gosh, freaking Seeking. So I'm just going to go straight for the foul play here. I expect an Icy Wind to be coming through. But I'm going to shield this. And then I'm going to be able to clear my debuff with this Skarmory swap. I get Poison Jab down, but that's okay. I'm thinking that I can counter down the Sea King, but I am going to throw a Power Up Punch to boost up my attack a little bit. And then in the back is that Abomasnow, and I'm able to counter it down. Very good game there. Oh my gosh, Mew Mirror match. And Skarmory in the back obviously does not want to see this Mew. I'm one short of back-to-back wild charges here. Gonna throw the Surf, I get the shield, and I'm actually gonna throw another Surf here. And I get both shields. At that point in time, I should have just taken the 2-shield advantage and not shielded any of the stuff up. I'm gonna bring out Scrafty here. I can't really farm this down. The counters are hardly doing anything. Wild Charge does a nice chunk. Out comes Machamp. Oh my gosh. Foul Play is obviously resisted here, but I'm only going to get off one move, so I want to do as much damage as possible. This is not good at all. Gonna bring out the Skarmory, and I have to farm down this Machamp. I have to save the shield for the Wild Charge that's going to be coming from the Mew. Out comes the Mew again. Not good. I was really hoping that this would be a Surf. But it was a Wild Charge, so good shield. But this would have allowed me to just farm down the Mew. Unfortunately, I lost the CMP tie. In the back is Vigoroth. So I need to get to... I need to put this thing into Sky Attack range. It's not in Sky Attack range yet, but I'm going to try to switch into my Mew right here. And I'm not going to be able to get to a move, just barely one Shadow Claw short. And this Body Slam is definitely going to be able to take out the Mew. Very close game. Good game. This next team is a very strong team. Galerion, Stunfisk, Azumarill, and Tropius. My Tropius is running Air Slash. I just prefer that for farm down potential against fighters. And the Azumarill, it's kind of flexible on what moveset you end up running on it. You could run Ice Beam Play Rough. You could run Ice Beam Hydro Pump. But I really like this team a lot. Obviously, the Stunfisk lead is going to struggle against like Azumarill leads or fighter leads, and both like Azumarill and Tropius in the back can kind of handle some of those worst matchups that Stunfisk might see. I'm going to bring out Stunfisk on this Drift Blim. Even if this is a Shadow Ball, I'm okay tanking it, but it's just an Icy Wind. This Rock Slide still is going to be enough to take out this Drift Blim. The Stunfisk Drift Blim matchup is very interesting. Oh man, okay, out comes that Machamp, and then now my Tropius is stuck against this Alolan Marowak. I did notice that it is a Hex Alolan Marowak, not a Fire Spin Alolan Marowak. So this is not as bad of a matchup for Tropius as you might have think. Unfortunately, I think I did get baited there with Bone Club. So I'm going to shield this up. It's just another Bone Club, which makes sense because he's pressuring both my shields here. But as you can see, this Air Slash damage is really adding up. I'm going to go for the combo play now with my Stunfisk, probably get the last shield. There goes the last shield. Machamp is going to come out and farm down. Oh, they're going to throw a move that's actually really good for me. I need to get rid of this Machamp though. I throw one more Air Slash. Now I'm going to throw a Leaf Blade, and I think I'm one more Air Slash away from getting to another Leaf Blade. I'm going to shield this up. I actually need to... I'm going for the Aerial Ace here because it hits for neutral damage. I think Leaf Blade and Aerial Ace hit for the same amount of damage. I can't remember, so just to play it safe, I was going for the Aerial Ace here. Probably could have gone for possibly Leaf Blade as well, but... Stunfisk and the Scrafty, this is not good. So I'm actually going to use Tropius as my safe swap here because obviously Azumarill is my hard counter to the Scrafty. Foul Play does a nice chunk. The Scrafty is staying in here, which is pretty strange, so I'm going to throw this Leaf Blade, start chipping it away. I get a shield out of the Scrafty. At this point, whatever is in the back has got to be weak to Tropius, so I'll commit a shield. Really nice bait with the Power Up Punch. Gonna throw the Leaf Blade now. and get both shields out of the Scrafty. Very strange. I shield up the foul play, and then I'm going to be able to farm down the Scrafty. Out comes Meganium, which is actually has a very good matchup even against the Galerion, Stunfisk, and the Azumarill. So I kind of need to stay in here and chip down this Meganium as much as possible. So I throw the Leaf Blade. It's not enough to take it out, and then this Frenzy Plant is going to be enough to take me out, unfortunately. I bring out my Stunfisk, and I'm able to Mud Shot it down before getting hit by an Earthquake. Thank goodness. Out comes Azumarill. I'm going to overfarm here. I'm going to throw an Earthquake and then switch into my own Azumarill. And I know that the Scrafty in the back really doesn't have that much play. I was trying to catch something on my own Azumarill here, but I'm going to absorb some damage anyways. They are running Play Rough, which makes this a little bit worse for me because I still need to hit 2 charge moves to get rid of the opposing Azumarill. And they have a significant energy advantage. Out comes that Scrafty. I knew none of these moves are really going to do that much damage, so I could just bubble it down and save this energy. And then I just need to land 2 Play Roughs on the opposing Azumarill, and this should be pretty straightforward. At this point, the Azumarill's even in Ice Beam range, but I get to the Play Rough and the Ice Beam at the same time here. Good game. Alright, Stunfisk into Berserker. Wow, I have not really faced a lot of Berserkers in Great League especially. The Mud Shots are obviously hitting for super effective damage, but Berserker does learn Close Combat, which would do a lot of damage to this Stunfisk. I do get a shield there, and then whatever move this Berserker is going to throw, I'm catching it on my Tropius. Out comes Hypno. This Hypno most likely has Fire Punch. Again, Azumarill is the hard check, the hard counter to Berserker. So that's why I used Tropius as the swap here. I'm going to be able to get to another Leaf Blade before going down, which is really good. This Hypno most likely also has Thunder Punch. So kind of in a tough spot here. I'm going to bring out Stunfisk again. Get hit by 1 Fire Punch, I'm okay with that. I want to farm up a lot of energy. And so I will throw now. I'm anticipating the Berserker coming out again. Oh, the Hypno actually shielded that. So I will shield this up. And then he goes for the combo play with Berserker. Very nice. I will commit a shield here and now bring in Azumarill, which totally walls off this Berserker. Gonna farm up to a lot of energy. Probably get hit by 2 close combats, and that's fine. I can just bubble this thing down now. This is totally fine. The Hypno is out of energy and very low health. My Stunfisk is still somewhat healthy and has some stored energy. What's gonna come out? It's a Skarmory. Okay, this is where having Hydro Pump obviously would be very nice, but I'm gonna get to 2 Ice Beams very quickly here. And then my opponent switches into Hypno. I was very worried that they would get to a Thunder Punch or Confusion me down, so I unfortunately had to dump all my energy. I'm going to land another Ice Beam here and then switch into my Stunfisk and go for the Rock Slide combo play. And this is just barely not enough to KO, but 1 more Mud Shot will do it. Very tough game there, good game. Alright, this next team is a team that I saw King using, and also Not a Spoofer. You can find both of them on Twitch, and King is on YouTube as well, obviously. But this is Skarmory, Azumarill, and Shadow Machamp. So Shadow Machamp in the back. Again, Skarmory is running this double flying moveset. I think this is one of the strongest teams in Great League. Obviously this season we're going to be seeing a rise of Galvantula, and I will be making some videos on Galvantula most likely. So this team would really struggle against the Galvantula, obviously, but other than that, it is a very, very strong team comp. Essentially, depending on how the matchup goes, you can kind of just save both shields for Shadow Machamp based on what you suspect their team comp might be in the back, and Shadow Machamp can totally just sweep back lines. It's insane if you save it 2 shields. So right here, I'm going to commit 1 shield and counter down this Registeel. Machamp, Shadow Machamp with loaded energy is just a force to be reckoned with. Out comes that Altaria. This Rock Slide is going to do so much damage if it doesn't get shielded. Down goes Altaria. And in the back is the opposing Shadow Machamp, just going to go straight cross chop here because fighting does hit for neutral on fighting. Rock Slide would be resisted. I get countered down, but it doesn't matter. I have stored energy on Skarmory, and I can throw one of these moves and take out the Machamp there. Skarmory is an amazing Pokemon, and you've probably noticed that Azumarill is in almost all of these teams, and it's because even though, like, obviously Azumarill loses to Pokemon in the Great League, it is so flexible and so bulky, and its typing and moveset just makes it so unique and strong. Honestly, if there was one Pokemon that I think you should build for Great League, it would be an Azumarill. So many team comps function very well with Azumarill on it. You can run Azumarill in the lead or as a safe swap. It pretty much functions anywhere, and it's just very solid. So here you see Shadow Machamp against Azumarill, and these counters are actually doing a decent amount of damage to that Azumarill. I'm going to shield up this Ice Beam and try to regain switch here. Gonna go for the cross chop, but then unfortunately Machamp is gonna get bubbled down. I'm actually able to counter down the Azumarill and win switch, which is pretty huge, because now I can get my Azumarill aligned to the Berserker, which is exactly what I needed to do here. Close combat really does not do that much. It's a stun Fisk in the back, so unfortunately my Azumarill is gonna have to pull like double duty here. I'm really hoping I caught an Earthquake with this swap, and I did. That's a big play. A lot of wasted energy there. But this Stunfisk is going to be a big problem to deal with for sure. I'm barely outside of Rock Slide range. I need to get to this Brave Bird here. This will do a decent amount of chip damage. Unfortunately, it gets shielded, which is really not great, because this Stunfisk is still out of range of Ice Beam. But a couple bubbles plus Ice Beam should do the trick here. So I'm going to throw the Ice Beam. My Azumarill is still out of Earthquake range. I know that the Berserker is still in the back. So this is most likely Earthquake, and then I'm anticipating a switch into Berserker. They stayed in there for one more bubbles worth. I'm going to throw the Play Rough. Ice Beam and Play Rough are both resisted on Berserker because of the Seal typing. It's not enough to KO. I'm able to bubble it down. And then out comes that Stun Fisk, and I'm barely able to bubble that thing down. Good game. The final team I have is another team that you've seen featured in my videos before. Scrafty lead, Shadow Hypno, running Fire Punch and Thunder Punch, and then Azumarill in the back. Again, the moveset on Azumarill is pretty flexible. I like this team a lot. Both Hypno or Azumarill can function as a safe swap, but typically I'm using Hypno, Shadow Hypno as a safe swap. Fire Punch and Thunder Punch gives it so much coverage against anything that could possibly come in to meet it. Obviously the worst things that Hypno could see would be like an Umbreon or a Sableye. Luckily against Sableye, even these Thunder Punches or Fire Punches really add up against the Sableye, but Umbreon is definitely a hard check. Against Galerion, Stunfisk, and Registeel and other Steel types, the Fire Punch offers so much super effective damage, and against opposing Azumarill's Thunder Punch or any other flyer is going to hit for a good amount of damage. And Scrafty lead, I think, is pretty unique. The reason why this lineup kind of works like this is because, so Scrafty's worst matchup is against Azumarill, obviously, but Shadow Hypno and then an opposing Azumarill in the back, most likely going to have to run Play Rough on that. Those handle Scrafty's worst matchups. So Scrafty has such a unique typing of fighting and dark. It's a fighter that can actually beat psychics and ghost types, which is just really amazing. And you have access to counter as the fast move. Foul play is a pretty hard hitting move. This Alolan Marowak matchup is not super favorable for Scrafty just because the fast moves are double resisted while the fire spins from Alolan Marowak are hitting for neutral. I do call the Bone Club bait there, and then I actually simultaneously switch into Hypno right as my opponent switches into Azumarill. Totally fine by me, because this is a favorable matchup for Shadow Hypno. Probably should have shielded up that Play Rough, got a little bit too greedy with shields. But I do have back-to-back Thunder Punches stored here. And so I threw one more Confusion, and now I'm going to throw this Thunder Punch. And I still have some residual energy on Hypno, and the Confusion is going to chunk whatever comes out. Out comes the Stunfisk. This is where having Fire Punch is really, really nice. And obviously, double shielded Azumarill in the back is going to just go to town on this team. That Stunfisk is for sure going to be in Ice Beam range, and then the Alolan Marowak is going to be getting bubbled down as well. So this will be pretty favorable here. And it looks like I only have one game featuring this team, but I hope you guys can find some use out of these teams. I really like all 5 of these teams. So let me know how it works out for you. There will be some Galvantula videos coming soon. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you stuck around for this long, you get to be the first person to see this new outro that I have, courtesy of Justin Wolf. He made this for me, so shout out to Justin Wolf. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.